Good afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching this, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dbacks Dispatch. The season has officially started. Pitchers and catchers did report. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that kind of been following us here on Twitter and Instagram the last couple of days. The engagement for all of us has meant a lot, so we appreciate everyone for just liking the videos, liking the posts. It really does help. We appreciate it very much. We have very high expectations for this season. I know I do. Unlike last year, my expectations were like win 70 games. I'm fine with that. But after what they did last year and what they've done this offseason, my expectations, I want to go back and I want to win it because you're this close. You're coming down the home stretch. Just some things just didn't go your way there in the World Series. Fellas, how's it going?
Going great, honestly. No complaints. Yeah. Yesterday was awesome. Just the fact that spring training obviously hasn't fully started yet with games still not kicking off until next week. But it's just nice to have it back, man. Just like, being out there for pitchers and catchers or for the open workouts where like fans can go see. It's super cool just seeing like more just baseball content back on Twitter, like new content. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, me too. I'm just excited to get the season started. Like seeing all the people post, like you, Brett, and Josh, and like seeing all the new posts of everybody just being excited for this season. Like I am so ready for it to start already, and I'm just jonesing. Like I'm like, hurry up, please! Like I just want baseball back, and luckily we have some finally, good baseball content coming up.
Yeah, like it's like even though we're no games have been played, but we got new baseball content, and to me, that is like it's what I need. I love it. I love it so much. Brett, you actually went down to Salt River Fields on Friday. You took some fantastic photos, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This man was cooking, y'all. Like Brett was. Not only did he cook on Friday, he cooked yesterday at the MVP party. So if you follow us on Twitter, you definitely see everything that basically a lot of the stuff from Friday, it's Brett's. So it is definitely great. So it's definitely very exciting. Like Brett, kind of give your thoughts as to some of the things that you saw while you were down there.
I mean, just off the bat, I got there right when it opened, right at, I believe 9:00 is when I believe it's 9 to 2. Maybe it's 10. Either way, I got there right when it opened, and there was already a good crowd, like decent amount of kids, just fans looking for autographs. Like I brought a baseball myself that I got signed by Drew, Pavin, Lawler, Christian Robinson, Jace Peterson. But just a good mix of just people. You could just kind of feel like it was a good like energy there. It was like people that just were really excited just about baseball being back. Even like I didn't see him anywhere on the non-roster invites. I didn't even know he was going to actually be an official spring training. But when I was sitting there with my camera, just kind of like trying to just get candid shots, all that. One of the ones I did end up getting was Drew Jones walking in, which is pretty cool. Got him signing a couple cards for people, and then as you just posted right there, me and Josh were up getting photos and videos of the bullpens. I believe it was Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Paul Sewald was up there throwing with him as well. And then, Josh just points out, he's like, I think that's Lynn. And I look down and just, lo and behold, it's Yumin Lin finally here at spring training. Well, not finally, isn't like, he was here late, but Yumin Lin here at spring training looking good in those new jerseys. Chef's kiss, let me tell you. But it was really cool seeing him throw his like first pen, like seeing a lot of him in person. Like, again, he's not lighting up the radar gun. He's not throwing super hard, but just seeing the movement of his pitches, seeing his windup, it's a little bit different. It's because he sets off to the side and then goes back to the other side and then does his leg kick. It's a little bit different. You don't see it too much. Not like Johnny Cueto-esque, because Cueto did like different leg kicks, but just throws off the timing a little bit. It was a really fun day. Like, obviously it was super cool, especially hanging out with Josh. He brought Elliot, his son. It was cool because, again, most of the people were on like the main area getting autographs, trying to meet players, all that. And me and Josh, when we were up on top getting those angles on the bullpen, we looked in the back fields and noticed on one of them there was So Josh went over there, and he got a really good video of Pena getting some BP hacks in. And like we noticed Jock Peterson like the first time we seen him at Dbacks camp, so I got to see him there, which was really cool. Jake McCarthy, Pavin Smith were taking some hacks on the field as well with Kevin Newman, Jordan Lawler, and Christian Robinson. So that's like again got some. If you guys haven't seen it on Twitter or even on our Instagram, make sure you guys go like check those out because there's a lot of content from some of the backfield from not just everybody that you'd see posted on like the main one, like Gabby and like the bullpens, but some of the guys that were just doing kind of just regular like practice. So it was just really cool. It made me really miss baseball. Like I think I'm just a baseball junkie and I just miss like practices and just like it was just super fun. So it was nice being kind of just like a fly on the wall and just watching guys like in their natural habitat, not in like a stadium filled with like 30,000, 40,000 fans, just kind of like just doing their normal baseball day-to-day activities. It was really cool.
So Jeff has a really, really good question here. When K-Rob was hitting, were they like, how were they looking?
My goodness. So again, it's batting practice. Like, you know, if you have power, it'll show, but dude, he was hitting them like they were like no doubters off the bat. Like the first two, I believe, of the video that I posted on the Twitter of it, he went opposite field, looked like ease, like with ease, didn't even have to worry about sweating with it. And I'm pretty sure they at least went, I'd say at least 20, 30 feet beyond the fence. The swing right after that would have also done that, but it hit the third panel on the giant backstop on the backfields. Then he started like, you know, pulling a few that like, again, I think even in the video, you hear me kind of go like, holy shit. Like he just has some insane power. Like I got to finally see it in person for the first time. Obviously he had all the visa trouble. He wasn't at spring training the past few years. Last year I wasn't able to go out there and like see him on the backfields. Was this time, dude, I understand why, you know, he was so highly touted and highly rated. The dude doesn't seem like he has like, again, it's BP. I didn't get to see like if he had swing and miss. He had some insane pop in that bat, man. Like that's why it's really, I really hope he can have a good year in the minors and, you know, maybe next year, like the spot of a bench right-handed power bat can be filled by him.
Yeah, I was there last year. He was one of those people that I saw in one of the back lots. This is something you hear from scouts, but they always talk about the sound that comes off of his bat, completely different. There's a lot of guys swinging out there, a lot of 97s, 84s, or whatever, on the back of those jersey numbers, and they have a good sound to them. But when K-Rob was out there, and it's including the actual major leaguers, that's why I'm saying like it's a different sound when a major leaguer is hitting the ball, and when I heard him, just like that pop, it's so violent and his swing is so quick. Like I want to see him so bad. Like I can't wait for him. And I wanted to mention Lynn real quick because I actually got some comments about Lynn because Martin Drew says he has high hopes, and Jeff Irvin's saying that to give the people who want more Lynn updates. I have a comp for Lynn. That's Nestor Cortez from the Yankees. I know you mentioned like if people go watch the video on the that we posted on Twitter, he moves a lot like Nestor does, like just a little front leg step and then the pitch and stuff. And also he's a lefty. So I mean, if we can get, he's what, 19, right? 19, 20.
He's just turned 20. he's still, man, he's younger than Jordan Lawler, and like
he's on his way there. He's almost up to the majors. So I'm like, if we have, Nestor as a number 5, like look out National League. Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, dude, he has some like insane movement too. Like again, it was like a higher angle, so I couldn't see like how much like depth and drop, but it looked like he had a really good amount of like side to side movement with his slider. Like I see why it's one of his higher rated pitches. Like that thing, it's got like so much late break. You look like it's gonna be, either breaking right over the middle of the plate, and next thing you know, the catcher's catching it right outside, like way over here. And I'm like, dude, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Like we said, he's very, very young. And I think I spoke to this about you guys yesterday. He would literally have to be the best pitcher ever in spring training for him to them even consider. And it was Brett or Gabe who brought it up. Like him being here at spring training is more for like people like Torrey and Mike Hazen to physically see, not just go based on the reports from from the guys down there in double and single A. So your brother doesn't like the comp.
That's because Nestor's always hurt. That,
I could see the comp for like pitch style definitely though.
but I think so. Like also to get Brent Strom to look at him too, because he's gonna be working
Stromy.
with him, because obviously when he's in Amarillo right now.
Yeah, he finished the year in, for the Sod Poodles in Double A Amarillo. Yeah, so I believe he'll start there. Unless again, if he has an insane, I hate to say it, I think the actual chances of him making that fifth rotation spot, like Brandon said, he would have to be like perfect game, strike out every batter he faces. But even with that, there's still a very slim chance he makes it. He could still do that and then slide down to AAA. Like again, if he's doing this against guys, most of these guys being invited to spring training are probably going to be, AAA, quadruple A guys, like borderline major leaguers. To where if he can produce good results, even in spring training in those like short stints, it could be enough of a confidence boost for them to be like, we're going to put you in AAA. I still think because the D-backs are very slow with their prospects, they take their time. I think he's going to start in AA, let him again like get comfortable that they're still start off strong, and then they can bump him up in like the first month to Reno.
Yeah. Also, I remember hearing that there was talk of a guy who had never thrown over 95 suddenly throwing 96, 97, and they didn't say who it was. And so I'm like, if that was him, that was Lynn, because Lynn's fastball sits at 92, I think. His main thing is that he's a crafty lefty. So I'm like, if it's Lynn who's throwing cheese that day, that all those scouts and everyone else was like going crazy over, I'm like, it's going to be really, really interesting. I can see him taking that fifth spot if that's the case. But I mean, having him here working with Brent Strom could, do wonders for him, because it's not like Strom is working with him. If he's in Amarillo, then he just gets videotape at the most. Yeah. Then he has to talk to somebody that talks to somebody that talks to somebody that talks to Lynn. And here he's able to tell him, okay, like I'm noticing this and this and blah, 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 looking at the tunneling of the pitches, the movement, the shape of them. So, yeah.
So Lena? Jeff brings up it could have been Walston,
Walston too.
Oh yes, that's actually I didn't see Walston on Friday. I also because I saw Martin Drew's comment about how Erod looked. I didn't see Erod. I believe his first bullpen session might have been Saturday. Yes, I think it was Saturday when because he did like actual like live BP against Gabby, because I'm forgetting his name. One of the D-backs reporters, I think, I'm not even going to get the name wrong, but he posted a video of them doing like a live BP, and he looked pretty good. But I didn't see him Erod personally, but I did see Christian Mena. He looked good. I see, again, we talked about it before, and like a lot of the comments, like Justin Martinez, he throws really hard. He has some really nasty split movement. I think the thing, again, with Martinez and Luis Frias, it comes down to him actually being able to control the zone, like control his pitches, get them in the zone when he needs to, throw those, pitches out of the zone, instead of it being more of a, kind of like guessing, like, oh, maybe this will be in the zone, maybe this won't. But Mena looks really good, man. I really do like the pop that he has, like, or the speed coming out of his hand. It looks really nice. And I'd really he could be kind of a dark horse for maybe that fifth spot. Like, again, I also didn't see Walston, so I couldn't like really tell fully and like confirm a velo jump to see exactly like the sound of it coming out of his hand. But if Walston struggles, Nelson struggles, Henry struggles, if Mena has a decent spring, he's already up into AAA. I could see him being a pretty dark horse candidate for that fifth spot. But he did look really good, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Lynn, as Jeff says here, he's 5 spots behind Mena. Also, there's so many people. Like, there's no reason to rush Lynn to major leagues. Like, there is absolutely no reason. Let him develop. He's 19. He's 20 years old.
Yeah, give him another season. It is like, really good for him to get the exposure, though.
Yeah, I think the exposure will be nice. Josh brought up Erod through on Wednesday.
Okay, so that's right. I thought makes sense because I don't think their first throwing session would be an actual like live BP. So it makes sense why Wednesday, because Josh was there for the first official pitchers and catchers reporting.
So yeah, no, definitely very, very exciting that we have pitchers and catchers started here just the other day. Positional players, I believe, report officially tomorrow. But as we saw, there's a lot. They're basically all here already.
I'm 90% sure every single like person on the team is there. Like Kevin Newman, Jock Peterson, Drew Jones, like every single person. I'm 90. Again, there could be somebody that like might show up, and then we see, oh yeah, we didn't think about him. But especially with the people we saw at the, I know we're going to talk about the MV party yesterday, and then even I don't think Josh like missed anybody. It seems like they're already like 100% at camp.
So a couple of other things that I want to bring up here, because you brought up Justin Martinez. I think it was Jesse from PHNX posted a video where they have the strike zone actually lined up for him as he's throwing a bullpen.
I learned today that's actually not abnormal. The Yankees do that too for Clark Schmidt.
Yeah.
That's like, which I thought it was, I was like, are you kidding me? This looks like some little league like coach stuff. But no, apparently that's.
It's all he's missing though. If he can get that under control, he's a deadly bullpen arm.
Yeah, that's probably just for the fastballs, right? Just to get that under control, because everything else
that
he
and then
has.
the splitter, because the splitter he's good about, like it's got obviously the movement, but even last year I've noticed a few of the times where, you know, you can get away with leaving stuff down the middle when you like have insane movement like that, especially with like playing off the fastball. But I believe they're probably trying to be more like, hey, get those two, like those are your two best pitches, get those two under control, and you're lights out.
Yeah, especially as being a bullpen arm. That's all you need as a bullpen arm. Just two pitches. If they're elite, doesn't matter. Like, if they know it's coming, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they could.
If he can get that control in hand, my comp for him is Emmanuel Clase. Like, that's the type of closer I can see him. Because if he has a high 90s fastball and that split does what it does, he is our closer in probably 2025, 2026.
I could see even maybe like a Johan Duran, which is funny because he was a former Diamondback. Pain.
Yeah.
But throw 102 with the nasty. I don't think he throws like 100-mile-an-hour splitter like Duran, but I'm pretty sure it's up into like the 93, 94, which is still gross.
Yeah, like absolutely crazy. And we got our first official confirmation of who's starting opening day. The team did announce Geraldo Perdomo will be the starting shortstop. He deserves it. He does.
I love seeing Perdomo out there. Like, his attitude is infectious. Like, you see it every time. One of my favorite things about him is that I noticed certain times, like during the playoffs and even during the regular season, is that if there's a pitcher who was out of control, he would be the one to call times, not Gabby, not Straw, not Lovello. Just suddenly you'd see Perdomo put his hands up, call a timeout, go talk to the pitcher and everything. And then you would see Gabby just like look out and, you know, go and walk and talk to the pitcher. So he's a leader. I mean, he is the leader in the clubhouse, it seems, especially from what we saw from the fan fest thingy yesterday. Like they follow him, like they love him. Like so that's probably why. I know there's some weird like rumors about him leaving just because he like posted that he was excited for the season to start on his Instagram. So all of Twitter,
everyone was flipping out for like 12 hours for like a 12-hour period.
Maybe that's why the first hour, like, Lovello came out and was just like, no, he's our starting day shortstop. Like, you know, let's stop with this, you know, narrative that he's getting traded or whatever, because then ESPN's going to run away with it and say that he's demanding the trade and he's unhappy here and everything.
The leap that he made last season still boggles my mind because he was unwatchable in 2022. Like, I'm like, why is he playing? I was like, oh, wait, Nick's hurt, and we literally have no other options. Literally nothing. But what he did in the first half of 2023 was simply amazing. Like, I was shocked. He kind of came back down to earth the second half of the year. I just hope that he got in the weight room because he had too many fly balls that died on the warning track last year. That I'm like the one he hit in Game 3 against the Dodgers, I thought that was going to die at the track. It almost did, by the way. It literally
landed in the second row. The second row.
So we had a topic that we were thinking about doing next week, but Martin brings it up. Gabe, your thoughts on the Trevor Bauer post?
All right, so I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he was just trying to beg for a job or something like that. Um, if you look at his, his history, I'm not even going to talk about the, alleged stuff, alleged, not alleged stuff that he did, just because it's not irrelevant, but it's just in this specific case, um, what I'm about to say doesn't really matter. Um, but what Toria would always talk about, especially during the playoffs, is talking about the connected team is a dangerous team. Like, and if you see these guys, like they all love each other, all would run through a brick wall for each other. And Trevor Bauer has had a lot of issues with that throughout his career. And I remember seeing reports on him. He was one of the first people I paid attention to in the draft years ago, and his attitude and personality is one of the main things I saw in high school that people had problems with. So when he got to college, that's kind of one of the same things I kept hearing. And later on, I heard a podcast with Cody Decker, who's a part of the UCLA team that Trevor Bauer was on and Garrett Cole was on. And he mentioned like he was a problem then too. He came in at 17, 18 years old and he was just, super cocky and arrogant. Nobody liked him. Garrett Cole had a huge problem with him. Even to this day, they don't talk. Like Garrett Cole hates him. And it's just one of those things where it's like he has a history, from high school to college to when he came here, and he had problems with Montero. He had problems with their pitching coach, uh, with their manager, who was Chip Hale at the time, was it?
That was 11. So I think that was Gibson. No, that wasn't 11. No, I think you're right. I think that was Chip Hale. I'm trying to remember.
But either way, it's like he had problems with them. He had problems with everybody. Nobody liked him on here, and he would
Miggy
like to
didn't
the
like
point where
him.
in high school, where like he just tells like the sob story that he has to like sit with his science teacher because nobody liked him or whatever because he was a loser. I'm like, yeah, because you're an asshole. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like you act a certain way and you talk a certain way, and so people just don't want to be around you. And then when he got traded to Cleveland, it was the same thing. I remember reading about it like a couple months before the actual playoffs started, that the teammates hated his drones. They hated it. They were like, no, it's a huge distraction. We don't like him playing with them, like in the clubhouse. Like we really don't like it. And then lo and behold, he gets injured, with the drones.
In the
And so
playoffs.
there's a huge, huge problem with that. Like everyone was so pissed off. They were like, dude, like we told you about these damn drones, and like couldn't you just, give it up for a little bit while we're in the playoffs? And might have cost at the time the Indians their the World Series, and then went to the Reds. Then was that when he like threw the ball over the fence, or was that when he was
Yeah,
still
so
Yes.
Cleveland?
he threw the ball over the fence against the Royals when he was still with Cleveland, and then they
Yeah,
shipped him off that week because they were like, we don't need
yeah,
this drama
and they were
anymore.
tired of him. He was a decent pitcher then, and then when he came up, to the Reds, and then he ended up winning his Cy Young. He did it in a short season.
Yeah, I was like,
Short season. He was using
Yeah,
spider tech.
also that's
He
not like
himself
he
said it.
straight up cheated. And again,
He said it.
there's a lot of
He's
pitchers using it,
yeah.
but again,
Spider Tech.
It's
it's
spider tech.
when you
They're
have your
using
numbers, it's not like he had like some insane Cy Young type seasons before. He was always
yeah.
a pretty okay to like decent major league pitcher. That's what sucks. Is like I'm not gonna deny that like he's not like, with the skill he had would definitely be a fourth or fifth starter. But I just think with the baggage, like again, not just the thing, the off-field stuff and the allegations or whatever the court stuff that he
Yeah.
went through and the suspension, just all the stuff before. Like I just feel like there's a long enough list of just reasons why to avoid him. And then, like even I know Mookie Betts came out publicly and had his back as like a a good teammate, but it's still one of those where I'm like, okay, how much of that was him just trying to like, save face or just basically like
Yeah.
he could again
And
it could be true, but I feel like there's so many other people that have had stories about how they don't like him. So I'm like, yeah, one thing from Mookie Betts isn't going to really change how I feel about him being like not a cancer, but just like unnecessary drama.
yeah, and the thing is, it's like with something like Mookie Betts, it's like, oh, really, Mr. $25 million a year man, MVP, future Hall of Famer, Mookie Betts. You're saying Trevor Bauer is okay with you? Well, yeah, of course. Like he better be. Like, why wouldn't he be cool with one of the main guys in the Dodgers? And it's just like he causes so much problems, and the team that chooses him is going to be this is the team that got Trevor Bauer or whatever, and I want to bring it up just because it's the truth. Danielle, she works for MLB. She has her photos in the Hall of Fame. She worked with the Diamondbacks for a long time, and she would mention that the Dodgers team and staff specifically. So for like a back, not backstory, but whatever. Danielle is trans.
Context.
Yeah, so context. Danielle is trans. She's a trans woman. And she said out of all the 30 teams, never had a problem with any single one of them except the Dodgers. When they would come in there, they would harass her physically and verbally, and to the point where the D-backs actually offered her security details to follow her around because they just don't leave her alone. And so if Trevor Bauer is saying, "Oh yeah, Mookie Betts got my back," I'm like, what's that? The birds of a feather flock together. Like, I don't take much stock in what these Dodger players are saying about him. And Trevor Bauer is the one who's out here saying that he's changed. Let somebody else say it. Not you. Get Garrett Cole to give you a seal of approval or something, or else I'm like, I don't like him. I don't want him here.
Think he's
Most teams
fully
don't want
admitted
him.
that he's changed. I feel like he's just being like oh, don't worry. Like, I mean, okay, I guess maybe he's saying he's changed and like don't, I'm not going to be a distraction. But again, I feel like there's just too much begging where it's like, I don't know, man. Like, again, some other team can give him a shot, let him redeem him. But I personally don't want it to be the Diamondbacks. I don't want to deal with, I'm a Packers fan. I had to deal with the 5 years of Aaron Rodgers just creating nonstop like drama every week, every day. And I just don't want to deal with something similar like that with like Trevor Bauer, like on the D-backs. Like, it's exhausting. It's genuinely exhausting when a player in your team, and again, whether he brings like he's an actual clubhouse cancer or not, I just don't want that like media attention, especially coming off of like some of the goodwill and some of the positivity they had off of last year's World Series run and the playoffs. I'd just rather avoid it. Again, I know like the skill, him being a baseball player, whatever. I just don't think it's worth messing up any of the good vibes that like we saw yesterday, man. Like, there was like the entire team just feels like there's already just so in love with like gels. Like Eugenio, I can see why everyone says he's such a clubhouse guy. Like, he just seemed like super chill yesterday, and like he was just smiling the whole time, like loved everything about the team. Same with like Erod was saying. Like, I just don't feel like we need to take a chance on ruining kind of that vibe that we have. I don't know.
Yeah. So Bauer, no, thank you. I think we're good there. So transitioning, yesterday was the MVP. So the MV party, most valuable party, which was for all Advantage members, aka season ticket holders. Lovely Brett here was able to get us into that. And as you guys followed us on Twitter, we provided basically updates throughout the entire question and answer segment there. So we're going to just kind of go section by section, just kind of giving our thoughts there. So first up, with the now new voice of the Arizona Diamondbacks, replacing the great Schulte, Chris Garagiola.
Yeah, Garagiola,
I believe. So first we had Jock Peterson, Jake McCarthy, and Pavin Smith. For me, after watching this, I'm on the Jock Peterson. I freaking love him.
Jock Peterson.
Dude. Yeah, I was like, I love just the way that he was able to answer the questions, and was very. Just like he
was asked some difficult questions.
He was. But you can definitely tell that he wants to help this team get over the top. Like, it's the one bat that we like. Just trying to think, if he was on this roster last year, who knows? Who knows what happened there in the World Series? Congratulations to Pavin Smith. Didn't realize he had a child this offseason, so congrats to him. Those are kind of my takeaways for that first segment. Brett, what were your thoughts from the Jock, Pavin, Jake McCarthy segment?
You asked a question, I believe it was for one of friends of yours, but I like the one you asked about his brother with Down syndrome and like how much of a part of the team he's going to be. And it was pretty cool to hear Jock say that the team and him have actually been working up a plan not even a plan, but something for him to do, like an actual like job for like him to be there and like do because he obviously here he like he said he lives in Arizona already. It was really cool like hearing the fact that the team is already like ahead on that, like making sure like again Jock's only here for 1 year contract guaranteed, maybe next year. Dbacks don't care. They're like, hey, you're here, you're part of the family, whether it's a 1 year, whether it's an 8-year extension, whether it's a 20-year, like you're here, you're part of the family. So it was really cool getting that answer from him.
Gabe, what your thoughts on the first segment?
I felt bad for Pavin Smith because nobody asked him any questions.
Yeah, Chris did a really good job about filling in when people didn't ask questions.
That's why Chris is a great moderator. He did such a great job. But yeah, a lot of weird softball little questions. Also, that kid, what's up with that kid asking what Jock's time at the Dodgers was like? Like, go back to LA or something. Like, what was that about? I mean, like, someone.
Yeah, I want to be nice to kids, but sometimes like I definitely did cringe a little bit when I heard that question.
Yeah, I was like, why are you asking that for? Like, where's your parents at? But yeah, it was fun. Like, I liked seeing their personalities because I hadn't really seen much about like with Pavin or even with Jock too. Like, being on the other side with the Dodgers and the Giants, like I had no interest in him. But seeing him here with the D-backs, I'm definitely excited. He definitely seems happy to be here too, which is always important. And also, he kind of looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Or am I wrong?
Jock?
Yeah. Kind of has like a DiCaprio.
Honestly,
I mean, I couldn't see his eyes yesterday.
Yeah, so
that's
he
what I'm
was
saying, like,
was
from like
rocking
his
some shades,
nose
man.
and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's like DiCaprio a little bit now that I see him in person. But yeah, that was fun. It was a fun segment. Chris is a great moderator.
Because you bring up Jock before we move on to the next, it was actually really funny when me and Josh were sitting there getting like videos. I was getting like my camera in hand, didn't have my phone, didn't have a way to record. But below, in between the bullpen and the wall where we were standing, there was a walkway, and Jock Peterson was walking by. I couldn't tell exactly who he was talking to, but it was funny because you could basically hear Jock Peterson be like, "Oh, where the hell you been, you little bitch?" Like already kind of just razzing him up, basically like giving in some shit. It was just kind of funny, like because he's always seemed kind of like a quiet guy, especially like a lot. I've watched some interviews over the years, even when he explained like the Tommy Pham thing, he just always seemed quiet. So it's kind of cool to already seem like he's going to be a pretty cool like a positive like clubhouse guy. Because again, it wasn't like he was being like mean to the dude. It was a really positive like bro kind of like, oh, I haven't seen you around, little bitch. What have you been up to? So it was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I got a video of it.
Yeah, I think that would have been something fun to do. So the next segment, which for me personally was my favorite, was the outfield. Corbin Carroll, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and our young king, Alex Thomas. Like, how can you not be excited looking at that man smile?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the young king right there. That's the smile of a young king.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. So it was definitely something that was very fun to do.
Pull that photo back again. I just want to see it again. It's oh yeah, look at that. Those jerseys just pop, man.
Yeah, they really.
Yeah, in person they look amazing, especially under the lights. They look so freaking nice. But yeah, I was excited to see our favorite Twinks back together again. Like they were a lot of fun.
Yeah. Not shocking. Most of the fan questions were to Corbin Carroll.
Yeah. Especially
my favorite one. Why the Dbacks? Oh, I don't really have a choice. I'm here against my will. Like, that made me laugh so much. And then we do have that clip, so make sure to go ahead. Like, it's on all of our socials. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok. So make sure to go ahead and check it out. I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it was Corbin's so good about like like he just seems like such a good, like obviously he's a good person, we know that. He seems super good with kids. Because in the PHNX Discord, I know one of them was in there talking about how they took their son to that Corbin Carroll like camp that he did, I believe yesterday, like right after the MV party, and there was like 350 kids. He stayed past like what the time was, talked to every single one of them, like took photos, autographs, and all that. So it was really cool to see him like take a comment that I imagine even other players would probably just like I think one of the quote tweets we got on our Twitter was someone like, "Oh, it's so nice not to see him like, oh, my teammates and my coaches." It was cool to see him have some like sense of humor, personality, play it off a little bit, like have it in like a joking way.
Yeah, it was nice to see him not do this typical give 110%, work as a team. It's a long season bullcrap. Like he was playing around with everybody, and I had a friend who did who worked for the Boys and Girls Club, and Corbin was there last week with them, and so they had a bunch of kids there, and to the point where he's so normal and unassuming that my friend's kid didn't realize that he was a baseball player. It wasn't until afterwards that he asked his mom, like, "Hey, mom, like, when's the baseball player coming up?" And she was like, "That was him, the guy that was throwing BP to you guys. Like, that was the guy." And she's like, "Oh, him?" So yeah, I was like, "Why do you think he signed your glove? Like, he's he's a major leaguer." Like, but they just have such a great personality, and all of them, Guriel, Alec, like the way they're answering these questions and everything, playing with everybody, like it's really really nice to see. And I think a pretty big change from what we had before. Like when we would go to the other fan fest, a lot of more reserved players and stuff like that. Still nice, but reserved. But these guys have a lot of personality.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when they asked. I'm not sure if it was a fan or Chris who asked Alec, what has been your favorite catch that you've made? And obviously it was the Marcus Simeon one. And Gary was like, I have the best spot to see it, all the way over in left field.
Yeah, that was really good. Gary was awesome. I'm so happy we brought him back.
Yeah, so great.
Also, for everybody who's taking bets on Guriel's hair, it's green and purple now.
And it was he changed that within because again, me and Josh were there Friday. He had to have dyed that either Friday after practice or Saturday morning because it was all like I think Brandon has the video of Guriel hitting. If you want to play that, you can clearly see in the video. Oh, you can see in the video he does all purple hair still. Like he did that like super quick. I didn't even notice that he had it because the way the field was in the background, that white tarp was so blinding. Oh, maybe it is a little bit green already right there. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah,
oh yeah, you can see a little green. I'm wrong. I apologize, but still, it is a. I wonder if he's going to go all green or if he's going like Dbacks purple and teal, like throwback, like he's joining Zach Gallen on the purple forever bandwagon.
Yeah. The next group was our infield, so we had Christian Walker, Ketel Marte, Geraldo Perdomo, and Suarez. And you can already tell Suarez has already meshed very well with the club.
Yeah.
Like you could just like the chemistry between those four in the infield just seems so close. So we're going to see some amazing plays between this group on defense this upcoming season. So one thing I wanted to bring up with this one, at the end of the outfielder segment, someone asked, so who has like who hits the farthest home runs? Like who has the most
power? Yeah.
And I think it was Alex who said it's probably Walker. So then Chris asked Christian, and Christian was like, didn't really say himself. He's like, well, there's a lot of good guys. I was like, Christian, it's you. You're the one.
I think even Gino was like, this guy right here.
Yeah, like
it's him.
Like even he was like, yeah, it's him.
Maybe K-Rob in a year or two.
Also, something funny happened in this segment as well. Again, we don't know if this was a misinterpretation with the translator not understanding, or he didn't want to say the word, but Gabe pointed out he did not. Ketel did not say he felt humbled what they did to the Dodgers in Game 3. You said he liked how they humiliated him.
Yeah, because the question was like, how did it feel to like hit all those 4 home runs? And Ketel said in Spanish like that he, we have great fans, and he wanted to give the fans a show, to show their appreciation. And so they're happy to, and he said specifically to humiliate the Dodgers in front of the home crowd. And then the translator said, like, he wanted to humble the Dodgers. Like, no, he did not say humble. He said humiliate.
I love how you put it in our group chat. He actually said humiliate. And I was like,
yeah.
because he was the dude for the PR. That was 100% a PR move. That was like
That
all him
was.
being like, we're not letting him say he humbled them, which again is probably the more PR correct thing to say, to like, not like be all drama. But I'm like, nah, man, you even humiliated them. They had to spend $1 billion because of us. That's the NLCS MVP king right there, baby.
Yeah. Like, what he did in the postseason, I'm still in shock of. Like, I'm hoping that he like finally realized how good of a hitter he is. Because that's the one thing that always frustrates me with him is he'll have a stretch where he looks like he's a top 3 second baseman in all Major League Baseball. And then he looks like he's in the 20. Like, he's average.
Yeah.
And like he'll swing at pitches. I'm like, Cattell, I understand you're trying to win the game. We're down by 4. We don't need you to hit a solo homer. We need you to get on base.
He turns into me, and that'll be the show. Just swinging everything, baby.
Just swinging out of his shoes.
Yeah, I honestly think that came back. There was that game towards the end of the season where they really needed to win with it was extra innings, either extra innings or it was a ninth already. Bases loaded for Cattell. I can't remember what team it was.
Oh, I was at that game where he's literally swung at 3 straight pitches.
He swung
in the
at
dirt.
3 pitches in the dirt. And when he came up in the NLCS, same exact situation, 9th inning, like 2 outs. I was like, damn, I swear to God, if Cattell's going to swing at 3 pitches in the dirt. And no, he was patient. He hit a ball that was up and just like slapped it in for a single. I'm like, I know that was, Oscar here says in the comments, it was
swinging out of his helmet's more accurate.
And I honestly think that was
Oscar
something
says it was against the Cubs.
I think that was something that he kept in the back of his mind, and probably the coaches too. Just told him straight up, like, "Yo, what the hell was that, man? Like, we needed to try to win, and you just swung at, trying to score, 1 run with the hard swing like that. Like, it was fine to get a single to win it, but yeah, Cattell's incredible. I love the guy.
Yeah, I'm really happy that it was one of the things that I really enjoyed hearing, especially a lot in like, I know some of it can be like, fluff for the fans, but some of the players genuinely did sound, when they were like from the bottom of the heart, when they were talking about like how they wanted to do it for the fans, like, how the fans were so awesome. Like they love the city, they love the team and all that. It was genuinely great to hear. I know we talked about the Zach Gallen one before, but hearing it from like Cattell, hearing it from Perdomo, hearing it from Gurriel, it made me proud that, especially in the last, few years, like 5, maybe like half decade, whatever, we've really embraced the D-backs through like thick and thin. They're really noticing it, especially like against the Dodgers, like finally showing out and like letting them know like, hey, this isn't like this might be Dodgers East in the regular season. It's not Dodgers East in the playoffs. No.
Yeah.
It's our home.
And I heard Perdomo say something. I don't think most people could hear it, but he mentioned that like when he went back home to the DR, they wanted to throw him like a big party too, like as a homecoming. He was like, nope, like we didn't get the job done. Like I am not, and that just shows like the personality that he has, where he was telling his friends, family, like, let's not throw a party. Like he wasn't happy they couldn't get the job done. So hopefully this year he can go back home and be, MVP of the World Series and everything. Like Perdomo's the best.
I love Perdomo.
So the next segment's kind of interesting. They had announced Gallen, Kelly, Fott, and Erod. It was mainly, for most of it, Gallen and Fott.
Yeah, Erod and Kelly were getting their work in, so they were late.
Erod was there for a little bit. Kelly was there for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he literally showed up. They asked, like, Garagiola asked him a question, and then they were like, hey, guess what? Oh, look at that. That's Aura right there.
That is a fantastic shot by Brett, by the way, y'all. I was really impressed with some of the things that Fott said in this segment. Like one of the kids asked, like, because he's getting ready to play his freshman year of high school ball, like, what are some tips? And Fott basically said, don't be afraid to tell your coaches you're hurt. Like, if your elbow or your arm hurts, tell them it's okay. Like, I thought that was really a interesting point.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that from players making, like, especially like obviously they don't get probably a chance to like get asked that too often. So it is like cool hearing a player be like, hey, like, don't. It's not just a push yourself. Stay committed. It's a hey, like if you're hurt, like let your body heal, because if you're just gonna keep playing hurt, your body's gonna heal hurt and it's gonna stay that, and then like that's gonna be your new like full strength. You're not gonna be back to where you were. So like it's okay. It's not weak to say you're hurt. Like you can admit when you're hurt. It's better in the long run.
So yeah, it was a Gabe, which segment did you leave in the middle of? Or which one did you leave in?
So I was there for that segment. I didn't see the very last one.
Okay. All right. So you just missed the last one. So,
Yeah.
which is fine. There's one more thing from this segment I was gonna say.
Dude, Gallon was really like him, Garagiola, like you're saying, Garagiola being like a moderator. Those three up there, like I could listen to a podcast of those three. Like Fott was really good with his answers. Zach obviously is like, super awesome. When Erod showed up there, I really liked what he was having to say. I liked what he had to say about the state and all that. And then Merrill, when he was up there for the 2 minutes, he was like, well, if I'm going to be up here for 2 minutes, I'm going to get my jokes in. He got his jokes in.
He did. Like, I didn't realize how much of a funny man Merrill Kelly was. So that one made me laugh. So the last one, we had Gabriel Moreno, Paul Sewald, and Kevin Ginkel. Without a doubt, the highlight of that segment was Gabriel Moreno doing the gritty. That was super hilarious to me. We also got a lot of insight into Kevin Ginkel in this segment too. I was like, it makes sense. Like he's like Allen, he's a perfectionist. Like he wants to do everything right, and when it goes well, we saw it was, I think, against the Braves late in the season, and then against the Phillies in the NLCS. Just his passion. Like it's so like, yeah, like you could just see how great it was. And literally Paul Sewald had that mic drop.
Yeah. I believe we'll get the video on it hopefully later today, but I don't want to fully spoil it because I feel like it's better when you hear it actually come from Paul Sewald and the fan. It's worth it though. So make sure you're keeping the notifications on, because that was like legitimately a mic drop moment. Steve Berthium actually like, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, dropped the mic and then was like, we're over.
Yeah. So, but no, like this was like, it's called the MV party, but it's FanFest. Like that's what it is. And I know a lot of people complain that it should be open to the public. And it was, I just don't think people were going. So they wanted to give something.
That's the thing I kind of wanted to bring up. Like, I totally understand wanting it to be open for fans, but even like, because my initial reaction when I found out last year, because my family, we weren't season ticket holders yet. So when I found out that it was season ticket holders only, I was kind of like, damn it, man, like that sucks. But I've literally never gone to one of the previous Diamondbacks fan fests before, mostly because I don't like super big crowds for things like that. Like, it's like some of the things I can handle, some of that I'm just like not too big of a fan of. So I never went, even when it was free. But like the last 2 years, I think it's great. Like I think it's a really good like bonus for season ticket holders. They really changed, or I think the second year was way better when it came to like the autographs. Like they, instead of it being just 2 areas where it was super long, it was like 4 areas. They still had like plenty of time before the Q&A to get autographs, plenty of time after the Q&A. Like it ended at 1:40 for the Q&A, and you had an hour and 20 minutes to get like more signatures. They had stuff for kids to do, balloon twisting, face painting. Anybody can go
fly
play
balls
in the field. Yeah, they had a fly ball station. It was genuinely a really fun experience. Like, again, I know it sucks not being able to like go there. I totally get it, but I feel a lot of people that are, or a good percentage of the people that are upset about it, never went when it was free. And because for each season ticket account, they got 6 tickets. There was people that were giving away tickets on the Dimebacks subreddit, and they just didn't even get claimed. They didn't even go to use. Like I know it's like hoops, I guess, to jump through, but there's way to go to it. It's still free. Like it was a really fun time. If you know anybody with season tickets, I think they're going to do the same thing again next year. Like, highly recommend. And even if it's a really good advantage to getting the season tickets, like it's one of the benefits, and I see why they did it.
I was one of those people that would go to the fan fest when it was free, and you're right about the crowds. It was a lot of crowds, but that's where we were able to see the actual interviews. I think for me personally, that was always like the biggest value that we could get out of it, because seeing the actual interviews with the players, that you can ask them questions. I'm sure you get people who don't know ball asking weird questions or dumb questions, but
we had a few of those yesterday.
It was the same thing, but I agree with the people who are saying that should have been, for everybody. I think there could probably, I'm like, I don't get paid to do any of this crap. Like, I'm not in the Dbacks front office. Like, they should know better than I do, but there should be a way to do it, free to the public, and then something special for the season ticket holders, maybe like a dinner or something else. But because I know a lot of people who would just go to the fan fest because it was free and they could, go and meet the players and see the players and everything without the financial commitment. And also, some people just don't have time to do, games during the week, don't have the money. So I missed that it was free. My parents, they would always go. My friends would always go. So it does suck that they're not able to access that anymore. And because there's quite a few fans in the comments from our stuff and even the D-back stuff about it. So I feel for them. Like, I feel the same way. There should be something else for the fans, because
I think we were talking about it yesterday. I think it would be a nice, like, do the same thing that they did for the MV party, but do it a talking stick and have it be just a Q&A where it's, because, if you're not having a bunch of other things, maybe you can have like just that day scheduled or whatever, get a bunch of Q&A, just autographs, and then like photos, and have it be those three, like basically just a basic fan fest. And then the MV party can be like, it's more time you can see with the players, have those extra things. I like the idea about like it'd be cool if they did like a dinner on the field thing where they set up a bunch of like tables and have.
Yeah, because they do that when there's like some charity stuff or whatever, and it's all like obviously the big donors, and nothing but millionaires out there. So it'd be cool to have something like that for the season ticket holders, like have the regular fan fest, and then at 6 or whatever, fan fest after dark for the season ticket holders. I think would be something really good that they could do, because to involve everybody, because we saw the turnout that Padres had. The Padres sucked last year and they had 30,000 people show up. So going on a World Series run, like, you could have more kids out there, you can have more fans. Like, we complain so much about being fair weather fans here, and it's like, well, it's not like they're doing anything. Like, some people knew, like, I've known people who were like, oh, the D-backs are good this year. I'm like, yeah, they went to the World Series, or they're going to the playoffs, and like, weren't they bad? I'm like, yeah, they were bad 2 years ago. Like, people still have that in their minds that they lost 110 games. And so, just having fans, giving fans access to the players, especially seeing Corbin Carroll, like, not everybody's gonna be able to go to the games. You can, people are gonna be able to make an event out of this. So it's like, hey, I live in Buckeye and the D-backs are having a free event, and then you can just take the family, go check out the D-backs, see who they are, go back home. And because especially with the way the TV contracts are here, like, if you don't have DirecTV or whatever, you're out of luck. You can't watch them unless you get a VPN, and and it's just so many hoops to jump through just to watch the Diamondbacks. So it's like, that's why there's a lot of fair weather fans here. Like, they don't get to see them.
I guess that's fair. Those are some good points.
So, if you followed us on Twitter yesterday, you saw that we had a post kind of going over some of the promotional stuff. Martin brings up a good point here. It's funny. Today, the team officially announced every single one of them. There's some really good giveaways this season. And I believe if it's like last year, it's going to be every Saturday.
There's a few that are obviously like, a few, like, I think Fridays. Most of those are fireworks, but yeah, I think most of them are. There's a lot of giveaways though. Like, I know some of the like Heritage Nights are going to be on like weekdays. Because there's way more promotions than there are Saturday home games. Like, I think there's already like half the bobbleheads.
So this is what the team announced today. So I believe that's the first series of the year, the Corbin Carroll bobblehead.
It is the Saturday against the Rockies.
So then we have the Alex Thomas T,
I need
Gabriel
so
Moreno
bad.
Gold Glove bobblehead. We got the replica jersey, and then the ultimate troll, by the way.
Oh,
August 10th, Phillies come to town, and they're giving out NL champion replica rings. That is the most funniest troll I've ever seen. That one made me laugh.
Is that normal to do? Do they get rings for being champ, NL champs?
yeah, they like you basically like whatever like if you win the World Series, you don't get NL championship rings because you get a World Series ring. If you just win the championship series, you get the championship series ring and banners.
That's cool.
It's also funny because I guarantee you there's going to be, I could be mistaken. I did see it online somewhere that the Phillies did the same thing to the Padres last year when they came to town. I think they had a replica ring giveaway for their NLCS. So it's just kind of funny that it's a little karma.
Also, that Gabby Moreno bobblehead looks exactly like him. I don't know if I've ever seen a bobblehead that looks literally just like the person.
Yeah, say some of the.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys went through the, like the Corbin one is a little bit. I feel like. I agree. Like they hardly ever get them to look like, but that Gabby one looks like they just shrunk him down and like froze him as a statue. I'm excited to see what the Gurriel bobblehead's going to look like. What the my favorite one I'm definitely getting ticket or at least going to is the Ketel Marte bat flip bobblehead. I need that the one after the Phillies walk off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have a bobblehead for that. I need that.
Also, the one I really want is June 15th, the 4 home run player tee.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Like that one's like everyone make sure. So if you want to see the entire list, go to dbacks.com, then go to schedule, and then there's a drop down for the 2024 promotions and giveaways. So that's where you're going to find the entire season's worth, not just the ones that were on this graphic. Yeah, Dodgers did this too, but it's because it's Dodgers. Like each team's going to do it differently.
Yeah.
So we have one final quick topic. Yesterday, Arizona Dbacks signed Randall Grichuk to a 1-year, $2 million deal. Then we found out today, man had some bone spurs taken out in January, so he's most likely going to miss all of spring training. But the team said he should be ready for opening day. If not, he shouldn't miss too much more time. I like this signing because he destroys lefties. Jock, not so good against lefties, kills righties. So it's going to be a great platoon. He's playing DH. I keep seeing everyone like he's a good defender. No, he's not. He is not a great defender.
He's serviceable enough to where I think it's like he's not going to be like a JD Martinez going out there at least to where like you don't have to worry about like it being like him Kyle Schwarber where the ball's hit to them and you just hold your breath and pray that something good happens.
I think he should not be playing in the outfield at all, or very, very little.
I agree. I think he's going to be mostly here for. I mean, again, if you're getting paid $2 million and then your incentives are almost double what you're getting paid on your regular contract, I imagine it's going to be more of, especially if the incentives are just plate appearance based. I think he's going to be more of a DH. And then I think in the PHNX show yesterday they talked about it. Let's say late in the game they bring in a tough lefty to face Jock. Well, Grichuk can come off the bench, fill in for Jock. Either as a DH or who knows, maybe they already did some jostling in the lineup and Jock ends up in the outfield. He can then still be like a better defensive replacement. But I think he's going to be mostly a DH and then just late inning bench bat. I don't think he's going to see too much like starting time in the outfield. I just don't see it with Gurriel, Carroll, and Thomas. All you can say Grichuk is a better hitter, obviously, than Thomas, but I feel like defending wise, those are your 3 that you have out there every day.
Yeah.
Did I say it wrong again? Because I know earlier I said it right.
Twice. No, you said Alex both times.
Okay, I thought I said Alec like at the beginning of the show, and then
that you did. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, at the beginning of the show, yes, but I think probably just now. Yeah, I messed it up. Sorry, guys. It's just hard when it's spelled that way. I'm just not used to it, so it's going to take me a while. Alec.
Heck yeah.
So, but no, I'm fine with this. $2 million deal. Like it's not a lot of money. I think it was Brett. You basically called it Kyle Lewis. Basically, he's got.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be a Kyle Lewis. He's brought in here as a right-handed power bat. Like, hey, you're gonna DH. You're gonna hit lefties. That's your role. That's what you're here to do.
Yeah,
I think obviously they're still very different because
this
Kyle
right
Lewis has
here-
a very serious injury history before.
Like this would be great. Like this would be great if they combine for that. Like I would be completely fine with that.
That's some World
and
Series
for the
DH.
people who are listening on audio later on, Jeff Irving commented, did a fan post on Snakebait yesterday, quick napkin math from the DH position, a platoon between Grichuk and Peterson. It would most likely be around, this is around obviously, 271, 35 home runs, 103 RBIs, and 675 plate appearances. That seems like right in line with what I was expecting too, because they both hit it, combined around 30 home runs. So if you look at these stats, I'm like, they just paid $8 million for JD Martinez. Like, that's basically what he did last year.
Oh, I think
And
Jock's getting. I think combined it's like 14, 15,
14
or
million.
maybe like 17. I think Jock's getting 14. Grichuk is like 2, with the chance to go up to like 18.
Jock is
So I think
getting
it's like
14. I thought
14.
he was a lot lower than that.
Maybe it's. I thought maybe it's 12. I know, like, because on the PHNX show they were talking about it. I think the combined 2, like if the incentives hit, is like 18.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, and also Jeff commented about the drop off he had with the Angels. I do watch the Angels a lot just because Otani was there, and now I won't watch him at all ever. But he did have a drop off like around September or so, and like Fott said, like don't be shy to tell your coaches that you're injured, and if he had bone spurs, and he probably had a thing for a while. So
Just
hopefully
weird how
that's
he
what it
waited
was.
till January. Like what if you
That's
knew
probably when
why
they
not?
caught it. So bone spurs and stuff like that, that's like you're literally like pieces of your bone is like chipped off into your
Muscle.
into your muscle and stuff like that. That's not always easy to scan, especially if they're like grabbing around there. It doesn't always come up in X-rays, and so it's just something like that where it takes a little while, a little more testing to finally like figure out like, okay, this is exactly what you have. And especially if he's not on the Angels anymore, then who's giving him the X-rays? Like he probably has to do it through his management or something to get those X-rays done. And it's not like every hospital has something to look at the bone spurs.
I
Sometimes you
believe he
need
was also cut before the end of the season too, wasn't he?
yeah. So it's like you need specialists for stuff like that, and it can take a while for a specialist that's not on the team to look over your medicals and find like, okay, this is what it is. This is the surgery, and who knows if you try to rehab it before that too. See if like you can do it on your own without having
Maybe he
surgery.
thought they were like shin splints or something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's probably why you waited until now. But supposedly he won't be ready for opening day. He said maybe he will, maybe he won't.
Yeah.
We don't really need him in opening day that quick. Like it's fine. He can take his time.
Could give Jake McCarthy a spot.
Yeah, Jake, Jock, whatever. We have a few guys that we can plug in and play there.
More like Pavin, because there's no way Pavin plays over Jake.
He's going to be our backup first baseman and then lefty bench bat. Like that's just, again, he could. I'm not even wishing it. Like Pavin seems like a great guy. So, and like last year was last year. It's a brand new year. Hoping for the best of all the guys. I don't think he is going to like lose a spot necessarily. I feel like that, like one of the holes, like question marks is still going into it is that backup first base. Like
Gino can play first base.
But then it's also like, well, who's going to be like if you have Kevin Newman, yes, Kevin Newman could be third when you have Gino playing first base, but they're also going to probably have, I wouldn't be surprised if there's days where both Gino and Walker have days off to where you're going to need a backup first baseman, where.
Martin, you are going to love us because all three of us are not fans of Pavin.
Yeah,
I know.
Again, great person. He's like, that's what sucks is like,
I don't like him as a baseball player.
I hate talking about them and like being like, oh, I don't like this guy. It's not like I don't like them as a person. I just don't like what they've produced on the field in a Dbacks uniform.
Yeah.
So he has played first. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting Jock at first.
Yeah, I'd rather have Paven at first. Like again, Paven's not terrible at first. Paven, like the first base, I believe, was his more natural position. Even in college, I think he was a first baseman, right fielder. So I'm perfectly fine with Paven defensive. Sorry, not perfectly fine. I'm more comfortable with Paven defensively over first than Jock. I would still rather have Walker out there.
I don't know if we need a backup first baseman. Like Christian is that good. The only time that Christian won't play is if we're on like a weird 2-week stretch of no off days and he just needs a off day. But usually in the beginning of the year, they have those planned off days like once a week.
Yeah. And they're probably not going to have, I guess, if Torrey's being smart, probably not going to have him and Gino off on the same day. So Gino probably will slot over there. Like Kevin Newman or whoever ends up being the backup, like middle infielder, third baseman will slot in at third whenever Gino slides over, or can even just stay at third whenever Gino needs a day off. Whether that's Rivera or Newman.
We'll have to wait and see. But no, spring training is officially underway. First official games start on Thursday, but the Diamondbacks' first game is on Friday. So very excited. It's not gonna be on TV, which kind of sucks.
I will try to I do have Friday off. I'm trying to try to go to the game. So make sure to look out for plenty of photos and content.
So yeah, I'm very excited for the season to get underway. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I have very high expectations for this year. Because we got better. This team is better now than it was when we went to the World Series. So very excited. Everyone, if for those of you that watched along with us, Martin, Jeff, I saw Cogs in there. Our producer extraordinaire, Josh was in here. Appreciate everyone. Oscar, thank you for jumping in. We do appreciate everyone watching live. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you get notified of all our future videos and when we go live. All of our socials are in the description box below. Twitter is going to be the best spot for our content. We post a lot of our content on Twitter. We'll always post there when we're going live, so definitely keep an eye on it. Jeff, thanks for stopping by too. And also want to give our
Martin is asking about the trivia, but Josh.
No trivia today because Josh is not here. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to do. So, and I also want to give a shout out to one of our newest followers, the voice of the Dbacks, Chris Garagiola. So we appreciate you for following us there on Twitter. Just keep an eye on our Twitter for all of our future content. We will see y'all next time.